Well, howdy folks, how's it going today? I hope you're all doing really good. Well, the parts came in for the partscaster. What's a partscaster without parts, right? Okay, so if you guys remember this one, I'm sure the pick guard probably gives it away. A couple videos ago, I was noodling around with this, and I was trying to intonate it, and it had an aftermarket bridge on it, which you could intonate it, but the saddles ended up right over the mounting screws here for the bridge plate that was on it. So it took me a little bit to figure it out, but this actually takes a square bridge plate, which is a little bit longer by about 1/4 of an inch. So that will put the saddles in a better position, and they won't be sitting over the mounting screws. So if you guys didn't know that there is a difference between a Squire Affinity bridge plate and a regular Telly or an aftermarket like a Wilkinson, there is a difference by about 1/4 of an inch, and it's also a little different the way the pickup is skewed. So feel free to check that video out, and I do go over that in detail. I'm not going to in this one, but let's get right to it and see what we're up against. All right, let's get the pick guard unscrewed here and get all the hardware off it. We're going to change the pickups out. So we got a bridge plate and we got a set of Tex-Mex fender pickups that are going to go in this one too. This belongs to my father, and that's what he wanted to put in it for pickups, so that's what he's going to get. I think it'll be a nice addition. Now, the pickups weren't terrible in this. The neck pickup sounded pretty good, actually, at least in my opinion. The bridge pickup was a little microphonic, so it was actually quite microphonic. You could even hear it through just touching the strap button. You know, that's how things go. It's not a big deal at all. Just take it out and put a different one in it. Now, I am going to try potting a pickup or two sometime. I've never done it. I think that would be a cool experiment. I've heard a lot of horror stories too, so we'll have to see what that's all about. Okay, let's get the ones out of the control plate here. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but it may be hard to see this too as well. Somebody changed out the control plate. This is a stainless control plate, and the switch is angled, so the slot doesn't run straight. I'll show you in a second. It runs on an angle, which is kind of neat, really. It's cool little aesthetic, I guess. Okay, there's a better shot of it. So normally that would run straight, right? And this one's on an angle. Just gives you a little better point of attack, I guess. I really didn't notice it playing it. It just seemed like it was normal. So again, not a big change, but probably a cool little addition. All right, so let's get this bridge pickup out first to figure out where it goes. Okay, that will go to this lug right here on this modern type switch. So looks to be the second one over, and I'd say they're bridged together as well by the looks of it. So what I'm going to do for now is just cut these wires off right at the switch, and that way I can take the pickup out. So there'll be another wire here that will be ground. We just got to find it. All right. Looks like that is it. All right. Yeah. Okay, so no, actually I unhooked the other ground to the other pickup, but that's okay. We're just going to unhook the grounds and we'll solder them all back on at the same time. There. Now, you do have a ground wire that runs through here and grounds the bottom of the bridge plate. And that's what this brown wire is right here, and you can see the other end of it in my other hand. So let's take the pickup out. We have that all unhooked. And, oh yeah, it's totally unhooked. All right, we'll put that one off to the side for now, and we'll get the new one routed in there and get ready to solder it in. Okay, let's take a peek. All right, well, we got some wires coiled together. We're going to get those unhooked first. All right, well, let's put some screws in the bridge plate here. They send you new screws and some surgical tube, which is really handy. When you get the surgical tube on, it holds the screw in there for you and makes life a lot easier, that's for sure. All right, let's get this one set up and we can mount the pickup. And we're going to have to tie a couple wires together here too. All right, pay attention to the shape of the pickup and pay attention to the point on the route. I've put these in backwards before. By accident, it can happen, so just warning you. Okay, so here's a nice little diagram they give you. If you guys want to screenshot that, I'll try to flatten it out a little for you. And there, I think that's all the info. Okay, so I got the new pickup mounted into the new bridge plate. They don't give you a lot of ground wire. That's what they give you. This is the hot, which you have plenty. Okay, the ground, I suppose you could hook it to this wire under the bridge plate. But honestly, I think what I'm going to do is lengthen that wire out and shrink tube it. You know, then if I guess, really, you're going to have to take the bridge plate off to get the pickup out irregardless, but I think it would just, I'd feel better about making a good solid connection to a ground here than, you know, rather than just relying on that. But you could do it any way you'd like. In any case, it can't be like protruding up over the body because this plate has to sit down on there flat, okay? Okay, this had a potentiometer that was shorting out too, so we're going to change that while we're right here. This would be a good time to do it. If I can get the nut and washer off. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to unhook the wires here. I'm just going to cut them off right at the potentiometer and get rid of them. Now there's enough wire left there so I can reuse it. We're going to put a high friction pot in, EVH. If you guys never tried these are really good, well made. They'll take some, you know, abuse, because Eddie would do his cathedral thing with his volume knob, and I've heard him say it, you know, in interviews, like the pot would get hot and then it would just stick and then freeze right there. So I think he had these made specially for that reason. So we're going to put one of them in anyway, and that should take care of the bad connection. Okay, so there it is, 250K EVH. Okay, well, we can thank Mr. Van Halen for that contribution. Man, he changed a lot of things about guitars, didn't he? Definitely left a mark, that's for sure. Okay, now this tone pot looks like it's bent. Let's flip this over. Okay, I see it right there. There's a little thing that hangs down on some of these pots, aftermarket pots or whatever. You have to clip that off flush. If you don't, then the pot won't sit flat up against the control plate. So we're going to take the knob off, loosen that up, and we'll clip that off flush. Okay, these ones take an Allen wrench. There we go. All right, let's strip some of this off and get that loosened up. Okay, so this is the little piece I'm talking about right here, okay? So all we're going to do is just go in and we're going to clip that right off. That should do the job. Sometimes you have to take a file and just kind of file them down a little bit too. I may have to touch that one just a whisker. Alright. Just a few light strokes with the file and that should take care of it. Again, you just want that to sit, flat up against the bottom of that control plate. If you don't, then it will, make the pop tip on you and the knob will just turn kind of funky. That's all. It'll still work, but it's just nice to have things the way they're meant to be sometimes. Alright, both pots are mounted. I've flipped it over and checked the height of the posts, so the knobs will be at the same height. Sometimes you have to put a washer under them or something like that. It's not uncommon. I like to have the pots facing each other too, just for simplicity's sake, but you can do it any way you like. I find this way it kind of keeps the wiring a little shorter and a little neater. Okay, so I just got everything kind of sitting in there right now. I did extend that ground wire out. That's what this purple wire is, tied to this brown one. The brown one goes under the bridge, and that's the common ground place, or spot, I should say. So the white wire, I'm about to solder back onto the switch right now. We'll get that taken care of, and then we'll change out the neck pickup. Okay, I gotta push that up just a little bit right there. My wire is just not really in the good spot. Okay, that should do it. I'm gonna hit the front of this too. So basically, these two terminals right here on the end are hooked together. There's a jumper that goes across them. And the pickup lead ties into this one here, which is the second one in from the right, if you're looking at the switch the way I am. Okay, that takes care of that. Okie doke. Well, we got the pick guard off. Now we're going to remove the neck pickup here. So the neck pickup goes into this terminal right there. And I believe no, that bridges both of them too. Okay, let's get rid of that. The ground's already unhooked. There's a couple springs in here. And the other one is hooked to the magnet. Okay, so that takes care of that. We'll put all that stuff in the package in there, and I'll just throw it in the cupboard, so we'll have some extra parts in case we need something. Okay, here's the new one, and it's got a plastic piece over the chrome. So that's the neck, same thing. Now they did give me enough ground wire this time. Make sure you orientate, this directional piece, if you will. Make sure the wires are pointing towards the bridge. Pretty simple. Okay, just like a surgeon, we're using a pair of hemostats to get through this little route and get the wires pushed through into the control cavity. Those come in handy. Don't use cutters or anything like that, and be gentle on the wire. You don't want to break anything. Now this stuff is braided wire, so I use solid core wire in general for electronic work and stuff. Braided wire is nice. You can flex it and break it, and you can with solid core too, but if you keep doing it over and over and over, it'll eventually break. Okay, so this is a good time to get the pickup mounted before I solder it. I'd rather not do a bunch of pulling and tugging on it, I'd rather have it hooked solid, so that way I don't have to mess around. I can just flip this over and just hook it up here on the switch. Alright, well, we got that in. Again, that's a good time to do this. If you've ever put a pickup in a Telecaster, it's no fun, especially the ones, you know, that have no adjusters through the pick guard, which you can do that, you know, yourself. Just drill a couple holes, countersink them a little bit, and you can have it adjustable. I've actually done it to some of my guitars, just so you don't have to keep taking the scratch guard off it and, you know, messing with the height. Now, some guys like the pickup screwed to the wood. Some guys don't like springs. They like surgical tube. You know, I've never really dwelled on it that much. I think the springs can make the pickups act a little more microphonic, personally. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it can kind of affect it. Surgical tube will take some of that away. And putting a piece of foam under the pickup oftentimes can take care of the, you know, the microphonic thing. All right, so now we got to mount the bridge, mount the pick guard, and then just hook up the rest of the connections, and that'll be the end of this. Easier done than said, I guess. Okay, one more check just on the scale length to be sure. 25.5's looking pretty sweet right there. All right, I guess we can get that mounted. Okie doke, well, we got her all wired back up here. I'm just going to check everything out. Okay, there's the neck pickup. Okay, just making sure the tone works. This should be both. Okay. Tone's working on that. And this will be the bridge pickup. All right, we're golden. Now I can hear that pot just a little scratchy, but I think it'll come right out of it. Yeah, it's about ready to do it now. So if not, I'll spray that up real quick and that'll take care of it. Now I've got the rest of the saddles to put in, just 2 more, and we'll be in pretty good shape. Now, as far as the wiring, I didn't do anything different. I basically just did this. Again, here's the schematic for the Tex-Mex setup, which is basically just your standard telly, okay? Now, the switch was different in this one, but, you know, it's not that big a deal, really. Once you unhook the original pickups from the modern switch, you can see there's only 2 points that you have to really worry about as far as soldering stuff up. So everything's grounded well. I don't hear any hum. We're sitting right under a shop light here, so I think we're in good shape. Like I said, the next thing will be to put the next couple saddles in, put some strings on it, get the knobs back on, and we should be in good shape. Now, one other thing that I did do, I took the original wire that was hooked to the jack is this basically 2 wires and 1 sleeve here. It's really thin stuff. And, you know, that's typical Squire-esque kind of stuff. So I ran some new wire to the jack. I just unhooked the old ones and run a little heavier wire there, solid core, and hook that all up. So pretty basic setup. If you want a step-by-step on tele wiring, go in my playlist, and I'm pretty sure I've done a few videos on it. So in any case, we're looking good on this one. I think this is going to be a very nice sounding guitar, honestly. Everything's fitting up really nice and lining up good, so the scale length's perfect. Now we have all kinds of travel here for intonation as well, and we should be in really good shape. All right, well, we've come this far. I know this is a long video. I don't like the saddles. I'm just going to say it. They feel kind of cheesy. I don't know. I'm about to coin a new guitar term, okay? Get ready for it. I don't want saddle sores on my hands. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to upgrade the saddles while we're right here. And that's what we're going to put in it. I think those will work good. As you can see, the springs are about the same length here, and it comes with longer bolts as well, and you have the small Allen adjusters, which you have to install in here to, raise and lower them. But in any case, I think we got to do it. We've invested this much, This is going to be a great guitar to play. It's going to sound nice, I can already tell. And it feels good, too. It's got a nice neck profile. Why not go that extra step? My issue with these is really simply this. A lot of times, these little Allen adjusters, one will touch, one won't. The string vibration will actually make them back out and loosen up. And then you get this weird kind of sitar effect, if you will. I've run into this a few times. I mean, I'm not saying these would actually do that, but I have a couple sets of these, and I think it's just going to make it that much better, so let's put them in. Okie doke, well, let's take these ones out, and we'll upgrade them. I think this guitar's going to be really, really good to play and fun to play. So, the more I thought about it, it was like, geez, why not just put some good saddles in this thing? Everything else is, of good quality. That's really a big connection to the vibration, the tonality, everything, If you got cheap stuff on each end of the string, let's say tuners, saddles, and whatnot, that's really kind of a deal killer, if you will. I mean, that's what's transferring all the greatness, through your strings. All right, so I got to put these ones together. I really don't know what the brand is. Let's just take a peek. Some installation tips, guidelines. They kind of look like Paul Reed Smith saddles. I've seen these, though, on other guitars, too, as well. And they look to be of good quality, so I think this is going to be well worth the effort. It just takes a second to change them out and put a set of strings on this bad boy, and we'll plug it in and rip a few licks on it and see what it does. Okie doke, folks. Well, I finally got it all back together. I did change the saddles. These are a pretty good saddle, actually. Everything feels nice and snug. The bolt holes and the threads feel good and tight. Now, here's something that I have never run into until now, so I'm going to show you. Now, check this out. The saddles are pointing right off towards Sawyer's, all right? They are lined up over the pickup magnets, but check this out. Now, I didn't notice this until I strung the guitar up. You see where the strings are going through the bridge plate? Now, the E string is not quite lined up. They're not even spaced evenly here. Now, those strings should be going directly under that saddle adjustment screw. I mean, this one's not even in the ball pack here. So what it's doing, it's pulling the saddles sideways. The strings are coming through at an angle, and then it's breaking across the saddle towards the bass side here. Good grief. Good times. All right, well, like I've told you guys before, sometimes you need to just step back, take a break. Working on guitars can be like playing the same song over and over and over and over and over, right? After a while, it just eats on you, and, you gotta just take a step away from the bench and regroup. I do have another long bridge plate like this, but it's for string through, it's not a top loader, so this is actually a little bit shorter here. So I can't really do anything there. Now, the sad part is I got to take the bridge plate all back off, unhook the pickup from the bridge plate, and drill some new holes here. I got to straighten this mess out. Now, there is something I could do. I could actually put brass compensated saddles on here, which you'd have one threaded adjuster for each one. So I'd only have to drill 3 holes and just center them, between the saddle adjustments that are there now. So I'm going to regroup. Like I said, I'm going to think this over a little bit. Now, I did like the setup here, and the guitar is going to play nice. I haven't intonated anything yet. I just noticed this issue when I was adjusting the saddle height. I was like, what is going on here? I mean, I can actually move them, but when you bend a string and that's not going to work. It's just not right. So I have seen similar things on different style guitars, inexpensive guitars mostly, but I've never run into this problem. So that's a new one. I thought I'd point that out before you guys make it all the way through your build and then discover that. I guess it can happen. I figured this stuff was all pretty much computerized, CNC, and that kind of thing, and it may be, but that's not even close. Okay, well, we'll see you on part 2. Be good. Okie doke.